So there you go.
Okay, this is April the 3rd, 2012. We're getting ready to do our Blog Talk radio show. And voice test it, Terry.
Voice test it one more time.
Yeah. I was looking at your Siri jokes there. That Siri, for those people who don't really know about it, is a computer program, an app, if you will, that you can ask it a question. And
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. There's 10,000 answers you might get back. The technicians tried to make one, whatever they could think of. So try a couple there, Terry.
Well, let's see. Somebody asked, "Will you marry me?" And Siri says, "No, let's be friends."
And then show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3.
Oh, here we go.
1.
You ready, Pop? Where's your script?
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Our show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed on the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video. You can watch as well as listen, and links are found on Facebook. We refer to our efforts as Musings with Steve and Teresa, and the shows are archived as such. A phone-in number will be presented later in the program. Have pen and paper ready. We welcome your opinions during our discussion. I'm Steve, the co-host.
I'm Teresa, the other co-host.
We're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues we think are important.
We want people to think how positive actions make positive people.
Today, we're returning to changing times, but with a different slant. We want to view changing times from the viewpoint of our ancestors. How was the new technology accepted? What adaptations did the changes require? Who had to make those changes?
Well, we can view some of these questions by looking at the journey of our ancestors in the communication business.
Through the telephone number.
Anyone wanting to join in our discussion can call us at 347-308-8409. You'll be next in line. Again, that's 347-308-8409. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. To put the story we got going here in context, in 1903, the Bell telephone system had 1,278,000 subscribers on 1,540 main exchanges. Now, that's 1903. The independents, including nonprofit rural operatives, claimed about 2 million subscribers on 6,150 exchanges. So the rural exchanges were about 6 times that of the general Bell system in the cities. Later, Western Electric estimate was that there were 1,300 independent telephone companies.
That's a lot. What do we got now? One?
AT&T and Verizon got out of the business. Well, the reason we're talking, I want to talk about the blankie back here.
This is one of my blankies that my boys line. It features football. This one has footballs and football helmets. And you can see it's blue striped. I hope you can see. It's got a nice pale blue silver border. And then on the back I put some real nice pinstriping so that it's acceptable in all areas of civilization. You can find me on Facebook and these blankets on the internet.
That's great. It sure do come out nice. The reason for the telephone blurb there, my grandfather Orville Garfield Bond was known by his initials OG most of his adult life. The OG and his younger brother Harley lost their mother in their early years. Their father remarried when OG was 5. The new stepmother had a son, Charlie, and like their father, Harley and Charlie became farmers, but not so OG. At about 1900, when he was 14 or 15, OG entered the telephone business as a lineman's helper. Now, the telephone lines were up a long time before real electrical wiring, and which is why the old-timers call a power pole a telephone pole.
I still call them telephone poles.
The lineman and his helper used a horse, wagon, and ladder, installed and maintained the telephone system of the day. Since a horse can get restless when standing or get spooked and try to run away, an important part of the helper's duty was not to let this happen while his lineman was on the ladder. OG was a good horse holder.
Can you imagine how much trouble, how much pain and injury could occur? The horse.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. And you'd lose your job too.
Yeah, lots of people would look horse holder for sure.
Yeah. Interested helpers became apprentices. Apprentices got to be journeymen. Journeymen became foremen, and foremen became supervisors. OG was interested. He learned and studied. He mastered the manual techniques of wiring and installation, the theory of mathematics, and the design of telephone equipment. He studied the art of supervising workers and placating supervisors. He was there when more operators and switchboards were installed to increasing telephone operator service for more customers. OG worked and learned. He studied design and coordination of switchover programs which allowed uninterrupted service installation of modern equipment. He was one of the supervisors to the conversion of rotary phones. This meant replacing manual switchboards, handsets, supporting service equipment with automatic dialing equipment, phones, new switching stations, new relay equipment. To achieve conversion without losing service was a monumental project. And goes along with that, you had to educate all of the people that you were involved with, both as customers and fellow employees.
Yay, Grandpa! Yeah, he was a big man too. I have memories of him, and I do have pictures of him.
Yeah, he was in the telecommunication business. He and his son and his grandson. I got a telephone story here, Terry. Read it. The telephone.
All right. This I would assume by the way it's described, this does take place in the past when they had to run the wire, ground wire, to carry the voltage when they set up the line. It was signaled with extra voltage across one side of a two-wire circuit and a ground. So when the subscriber answered the phone, it would switch to a two-wire circuit for a conversation. This allowed two parties on the same line to be signaled without disturbing each other. Anyway, an elderly lady with several pets called to say that her telephone failed to ring when her friends called, and that on the few occasions when it did ring, her dog always barked first. The telephone repairman proceeded to the scene, curious to see this psychic dog. He climbed a nearby telephone pole, hooked in his test set, and dialed the subscriber's house. The phone didn't ring. He tried again. The dog barked loudly, followed by a ringing telephone. Climbing down from the pole, the telephone man found that 1. The dog was tied to the telephone system's ground post with an iron chain and a collar. When the phone rang, the phone was signaled. The dog was receiving 90 volts of the signaling current. After several such jolts, the poor dog would start barking and then urinate on the ground. The wet ground would now complete the circuit and the phone would ring. Poor dog.
That's one of the kind of stories that Grandpa Bond was capable of telling. Because
it's a true story.
You had to work with the people and the circumstances.
Yeah.
And
no, what they tell you is call before you dig.
Yeah. Terry, this is not exactly the communications thing, but it has to do with humanity. Do the Cannon Man.
Cannon Man. This is a really funny true story. It takes place in Pennsylvania with a group of young men in their 20s drinking beer and playing with firearms on a deck of their buddy. They were firing at a raccoon as it wandered by, but the beer apparently impaired their aim, and after an estimated 35 shots, the animal escaped into a 3-foot drainage pipe nearby the house. Determined to terminate the animal, one of the homeowner retrieved a can of gasoline and poured it down the pipe, intending to smoke the animal out. After a few attempts to light it unsuccessfully, he empties the whole can down there and decides to go down to light it himself. So he slides down in the pipe and he gets about 15 feet in there, lights the match, and the subsequent fireball propelled the man back the way he'd come, though at a much higher rate of speed. His buddy said he exited a dead-angle pipe like a Polaris missile leaves a submarine. Launched directly over his home, right over the heads of his friends, onto the front lawn. In all, he traveled about 200 feet through the air. His buddy said there was a Doppler effect with his scream as he flew over. Ah! The man said he thought it was pretty cool and he'd try it again if he didn't think he'd get hurt. Mercy.
We find that humorous and stupid. Almost a Darwin.
True stories, I swear, true stories.
A Darwin story. Now, we were talking about the telephone, the new Siri telephone that's got the better than 10,000 repartee answers to the questions that anybody might ask. Try one there, Terry.
Well, it turns out that Siri is quite the comedian, and she's a little bit of a smarty pants. Somebody said to her, "Beam me up!" She said, "Sorry, Captain, your tricorder is in airplane mode." Another answer, "Okay, stand still." Another one, "Guess what?" She says, "Don't tell me you were just elected President of the United States, right?" There's even a dark side to Siri. She will answer all questions. Says, somebody asks, "I need to hide a body." Her answer, "What kind of place you looking for? Reservoirs, metal foundries, mines, swamps?"
I like this one. "Are you going to kill me in my sleep?" And it quotes out of the movie. "I'm sorry, David. I'm afraid I can't answer that."
Yeah. See.
Got a story here about credit card, new technology. In March 1992, a man living near Newtown, near Boston, Massachusetts, received a bill for his yet unused credit card, stating that he owed $0.00.
That's nothing. Right?
He ignored it and threw it away. In April, he received another and threw that one away too. The following month, the credit card company sent him a very nasty note stating they were going to cancel his card if he didn't send them $0.00 by return post. He called them, talked to them. They said it was a computer error and told him they'd take care of it.
Sure.
Following month, he decided it was about time that he tried out the troublesome credit card, figuring that if there were some purchases on his account, it would put an end to this ridiculous predicament. However, in the first store that he produced his credit card in payment for his purchases, he found that his card had been canceled. He called the credit card company, who apologized for the computer error once again and said they would take care of it.
Sure.
Next day, he got a bill for $0.00 stating that the payment was now overdue. Assuming that having spoken to the credit card company only the previous day, the latest bill was yet another mistake, he ignored it, trusting that the company would be good on their word and sort the problem out. Next month, he got a bill for $0.00 stating that he had 10 days to pay his account or the company would take steps to recover his debt. Finally, giving in, he thought he'd play the computer at his own game, and he mailed him a check for $0.00. The computer duly processed his account and returned a statement to the effect that he now owed the credit card company nothing at all. A week later, the man's bank called him, asking him what he was doing writing a check for $0.00. After a lengthy explanation, the bank replied that the $0.00 check had caused their check processing software to fail. The bank could now not process any checks from any of their customers that day because for the check for $0.00 was causing the computer to crash. The following month, the man received a letter from the credit card company claiming that his check had bounced and he now owed them $0.00, and unless he sent a check by return post, they would be taking steps to recover the debt. The man who'd been considered buying his wife a computer for her birthday bought her a typewriter instead. So there. Terry's sound box there is hilarious. Well, I got a story. I'm going to try to capsulate it. In Netherlands, they had a refuge problem. People weren't throwing things in trash cans. They tried fining them, they tried patrolling them, and nothing worked. And somebody says, well, instead of punishing the litterer, why don't we reward the law-abiding? and it says they first thought about paying money. Then they couldn't afford that, and they said, okay, we'll put a electronic device and a rewarded thing so the cans over there tell jokes now when you put trash in them.
Yay!
In summary, today we told the story of my grandfather Bond's work in telecommunications. We talked to some people from history and men and women who changed the world of our day with lasting or non-lasting effects. We encourage you to change the future, or charge the future and change the system. Make it fit your expectations and needs. And what if the next guy changes or uses your work differently? You made an effort.
We want to thank you for listening to our podcast today. The program is archived on Blog Talk Radio and captured on YouTube. And I'll be putting links for everything on it on the Facebook as soon as I can. Our missions on the Blog Talk Radio presentations are
to stimulate your thinking,
prod your mind
into new channels, pump up your interest in life, rebuild your enthusiasm. Whether you're pro or con, we insist that you join us as we
investigate,
evaluate, and participate. Be part of the solution,
not part of the problem.
We want to thank you for listening to our broadcast today. We'll return with our continuing viewpoints next Tuesday at 2 p.m., April 10th. We will discuss our changing times with another differing view.
I'm Teresa.
I'm Steve. Thank you for listening. Think positive.
Be positive.
Live positive.
Enjoy.
And goodbye.
See ya. Oh, mercy.